Hey, what's up, everyone? My name's Lionel. I'm your host for LT Productions, and you are watching I Watch You Watch. Today, we are covering The Real Housewives of Atlanta. This is season 17, episode 13. I appreciate everyone for coming to my channel. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Please like this video, support my channel, and you can subscribe if you are new to this channel. Welcome. Share this video and make your comments below. Let's get into this week's episode. Y'all, I'm just gonna let y'all know. This is probably gonna be a short video. Y'all can call me Negative Nick all you want to, but this season isn't like how y'all trying to hype it to be. Y'all saying Atlanta's back. Then y'all saying, keep this whole cast. Don't change nobody. But then next you're trying to say who needs to be fired. And I think y'all delusionally lie about Roa because of the fanfare and the popularity and how much we love it. Y'all tell us to move on and let the show evolve, but y'all still hanging on to the old stuff and then acting like it's still a part of the new stuff that's going on, and it's nothing. Y'all trying to y'all trying to put the raw ingredients into this microwavable processed production that we're getting in season 17. I'll be talking about that later in the next few weeks. They just filmed Reunion, and Andy was done before the sun was down. They don't even do that on a Jersey reunion. He said, let me go get home to my children. Any other time, he's drained. Oh, it was a lot. Well, he did say it was fun. But if you really count up everything that has happened, we don't need no 3 parts. We really don't. Not in my opinion. But we can talk about that another day. I guess I'm just going through the BS up front. Anyways, immediately the ladies leave to go to Scotland. I think a lot of people have dressed appropriately, at least got on the furs and all that good stuff, maybe some ers. The reason Phaedra's over this trip because it's Phaedra's birthday. So this had to be filmed in October, November. Phaedra's a Scorpio. I said, oh, okay. And y'all was sitting up here pushing for these ladies to hurry up and get back. Okay, whatever. They get to Scotland, and we arrive at the castle. Just as we were just talking about, I think on last week's episode, it's kind of going to be the Traitors theme. This is the last time that Phaedra peaked on television, was on Traitors. They arrive at the castle, and they are flirting over this man. I don't know if he's married or not, but they describe him as the Scottish Sterling K. Brown. So I guess we're getting settled right now, and the ladies are sitting down. They talk about Pinky's movie. It was just finalized what the budget is. So this is October, November. Okay, Shamia got a main character role. Cool. So I'm seeing that Pinky's using a lot of Atlanta talent. I'm just putting some mental thoughts in my head right now. Of course, we got our girl from Power is in it. She was in it a couple weeks ago. Y'all know who I'm talking about. But okay, interesting. And people are like, well, where is it? I mean, it's June, almost July right now. So about 6 or 7, 8 months. I don't know where it's going to be distributed at. If it's on Tubi, all I know is just some people that I follow, their work and stuff. It takes a while for anything to even get approved to be on a Tubi. And that's the most I know. I don't know all the ins and outs as to why there's delays, but it takes a long time. So I don't know where it's going to be distributed at. But anyways, Kelly says that she's forever grateful to Phaedra about helping her with some of the stuff that's happening with her divorce and as far as how the husband is acting. Now, this is what I believe, and now I'm starting to understand what's happening. She said that the HOA kicked her out of her dwelling place, because I was like, how can a neighbor kick you out like that? Like, why are you running because of a neighbor who done put a restraining order on you? Like, you're broke. Your husband must have stopped paying the bills. But I can believe that a HOA told her to get up out of there. And maybe she didn't fight it because she knew she didn't have no funds like that anyways for it. But them HOAs are hell on earth. That's all I can say. Y'all can have them if you want them, but yeah, y'all. Let's see. Cynthia said, I'm sorry for what you're dealing with. If we can help you, just tell us, da 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 da. And Kelly said, I don't want to tell y'all anything because anything you say within this group, it's turned around and weaponized against you. But I mean, Kelly, you're a part of the problem too. Not so much this season, I think, but last season you were. And maybe I should start afresh anew with you, but I just have not seen you put forth an effort to show up differently for other people that you may have not shown up the best as far as last season. It's like I'm liking you better this season, but at the same point, I still got to call out the BS. Angela says, well, that's hypocritical. Angela feels like that she's the least represented and the least supported. Angela, I think last season you were. This season you've transitioned, where the plastics have accepted you in. Now, do I see them defending you? No. Do a lot of people mess with you like that anymore? No. As far as trying to come at you, no. Shamia says, well, you do. And she says, Drew, you have someone that supports you. Okay. Shamia, as we've seen throughout this whole episode, you got Pinky, you got Kelly, you still got K. Michelle, who support you. Yet you're crying. This is the second episode since we saw you in that confessional crying that everyone's against me. Either something terrible happened on this trip and we're just getting edits from that we haven't gotten to yet, and people have just turned their backs on you, or you lying. And I caught you in 2 lies this episode, and we'll get into that in just a second. Kelly said, when that guy that came last season that was saying all this stuff about Charles, I kicked him out immediately. And Angela said, well, you went around saying that you thought it was me that made this happen. So how do you think that that's really sticking up for me? And Kelly said, well, it did look weird. Everything is suspicious. I'll just say that much because it's like nothing really came of it. And now the dude's still on Twitter stating that Angela's corrupt and she did all this stuff. And he gonna keep on going. I don't even understand because at the beginning it wasn't even I don't know. I don't care. I don't care. And then we get on Angela and Shamia. I'm just telling you right now, I could care less. This stuff is very ridiculous. On Angela's part and Shamia's part. And Angela, you're looking like a fool. Whether you're telling the truth or not, you're looking like a fool. Shamia brings up, why, Angela, are you doing a full investigation? You asking around about me, da 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 da. Shamia's in her confessional quoting Bible scriptures. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death. Da 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 da. I thought, okay. Well, she was a church girl, so okay. Phaedra ain't even done that, and you know how religious she is. We get to the part where Angela starts mentioning who Shamia slept with, because first Angela was egging it on, like, I could really hurt your feelings. Da 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 da. We found out it's this man named George. George has been around Shamia, who donated to something that she had going on. He said that you so fine, I gotta donate. And somehow Angela believes that means that Shamia and him was messing around. That's a stretch, Angela. And I don't even go up for Shamia. That's a stretch. I don't know what you're doing. Cynthia jumps in regards to Shamia being the person that can bring this whole group together. And then I had to put a pin right there and say, Cynthia, shouldn't the anchor / face of the show be the one doing that? She's sitting idly by where she can really come to the defense and speak up for Shamia. She don't. I'm talking about Perfect Portia. And really all she's doing is letting Shamia self-destruct so that she can get off the show, off her show. I ain't crazy. um, basically, you're part of you are the division of the group. Cynthia, now you've been in several interviews and even on your podcast saying like I don't have a beef with her and I don't even know why she would have a beef with me. I thought we were good. Not saying that you started a beef with her, but the stuff that you do say, now I'm seeing in what was it, last week's episode, or like Shamia has reason to have something against you, or at least something that y'all need to work out. Because to just say that I don't have no beef with her is a lie, though. It's a lie, and like I ain't even trying to go up for Shamia. I think she's whack. So, if I'm gonna just be truthful, no. Let's wrap this up. Kay is in her confessional, and she's just really trying to figure out, okay, why is it that when things are brought up against Shamia and the allegations, it's swept under, but with others, it's not? I mean, even with Kelly, nobody jumped in to defend her against Portia. Everybody's just standing idly by. And Phaedra's the one that is confirming it as if she was there. Y'all think Kelly's gonna confront Phaedra about her part and confirming that she was sleeping with someone? Or you think she's gonna let it ride because she needs Phaedra for this law crap that's going on? I'm choosing the latter, but we shall see. So there's this thing where they finally went up to their rooms and stuff. Shamia's talking her crap. Angela's hearing it. Angela wants Shamia to come out, da-da-da-da-da. Pinky and K. Michelle are in the room with Shamia. She's showing them the text messages. Why Shamia was able to come in hot and just not be affected by anything that Angela was saying is that because she went around the corner and she got some information about Angela. And that's why she said, why are you investigating me? I don't know if she's friends with this woman. Oh, Portia did say in regards to this George person, when Angela said that this George person is married. And Portia said, he's married? And Shamia was like, you don't have to get bug-eyed for it, about it. And she's like, no, I'm just reacting. There's like some indicators. I'm not gonna say that Shamia's sleeping with that man or something went on with this man. But you didn't even know, but you know how. But then in another scene, when Angela's explaining her side to Phaedra and you, or was it there? I think later on, you know how her voice sounds. That's when y'all went to dinner. I'm lost, and I think this is all ridiculous. But anyways, Angela calls the lady Ashley, who is George's wife. And she wanted to know what was said. Shamia saying that you said that I told you that Shamia was sleeping with my husband. And Angela said that's not true. That's the part that now people are thinking that Angela's lying. She's not lying. She did come up with her own interpretation and her own ruling in judgment in saying that, or assumption I'll say, that Shamia and George are effing. So Shamia saying that she's got proof. But Shamia lied to Angela to get all this stuff. And she's thinking that that is proof. What she shows up later is not really looking right. Now I understand Angela's message. It's going to take a while to get to the truth. However, I think you should drop it because you still don't know that Shamia and George are really sleeping together. And it makes you look foolish. So, it's nighttime and they're going out to dinner. Shamia, Pinky, and K. Michelle, they get together and talk. And they hash out what K. Michelle told Pinky about how Shamia is saying that my friends don't really want me to be friends with you. And I need to know that you have my back. Basically, that's the only, it's contingent upon me wanting to be friends with you if you still have my back. They hashed it out. On Carlos King's interview, you said that y'all didn't. Well, what you said is that you have receipts. K. Michelle saying all this stuff, da-da-da-da-da-da-da. And there's just stuff that we're going to have to work out during the reunion. You said it in another interview with Angela Yee. But you hashed it out there. Probably the only thing that you got to hash out is about your mom's attire as far as the boobs being pushed all the way up. What is there? And that's why you were like, I'm looking to resolve things with K. Michelle. Like, that's the one that you really want to resolve because there's nothing to resolve. You already did it. So I don't understand. You apologized and took accountability. You didn't say that in the Carlos interview. You lied. So all the ladies sit down, and they did say that Shamia and K. Michelle hash out their stuff. Da 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 da. They got on the subject of lesbian. Portia was I guess asked a question, or people have been asking her, okay, so you with the man and now you with the woman. Would you go back to a man? Da 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 da. Would you be with a woman? She says she really don't know. You know, I pay my own bill. I'm self-sufficient. Pinky volunteers information that she was in a lesbian relationship for 2 years. Phaedra said that she gives that. Like, she said that she knew that Pinky was in this lesbian relationship, and really surprised when she showed up with being married to a man. That's that church mother gossiping mess. I think that under different circumstances, if Phaedra was allowed to do what she wanted to do and still look respectable, she would do it. I think that she lives vicariously through Portia and would love to do so much of the stuff that Portia does. But because of how she's raised and how it would look, she don't do it. I don't know if she's into lesbians, but I just don't. There's just always this stench of judgment. Y'all call it comedy. Drew and Kelly both said that they did lesbian stuff on the request of their husbands. What I will say is that it can get tricky when you start doing this threesome stuff. It's more for the benefit of the man, but then you can start having feelings for women or for the same sex in that type of situation. A lot of folks, the third could become the main, or the third can end up taking your spouse. Meaning they'll take the woman. Drew, I do think you have an attraction to women. Is it because of the threesomes? I don't know. And we don't know that much about you. I think that there is. And since you opened up that gate, that's how that one girl, the one lesbian that gets on my nerves, was able to come in during a time where you're having trouble with your husband. K. Michelle said that she was in a lesbian relationship. She had just moved to Atlanta and just thought that was going to be her life. Her hairdresser ended up sleeping with her lesbian partner. Kay was talking to men at the same time, and a bunch of stuff went down, and she said, oh, let me come on back over to the straight land. And that's the thing that bothers me, because women can just go in and out, and there's no judgment. Now you got Portia, I'm gay. Men can't do that. And because of how her personality is, it's just like, oh. Shamia, who lied in Carlos's interview, says that I kissed a girl. And she's watched lesbian porn. And Drew brings up, well, you said that you kissed a girl. Portia did say that I kissed Candy in the club and you kissed Candy in the club. Shamia says, no, I didn't kiss Candy. You said in Carlos's interview that you've had no interaction with a woman. You have no desire to be with a woman at all. That's lie number 2. I don't know what your desires are. I'm just saying, no. Kelly was in her confessional like, ooh, I told y'all that. I'm gonna have to lay off the drinking. And that's the part that has been irritating me, because it has been feeling like you've been holding back. But I think if you had showed up as a different person, Kelly, from the beginning, you could have been seen as more authentic. And now it's makeup time. Pinky's talking about when they were riding in the car over to dinner, that when she's talking with, I forgot who she's talking with, but whatever. I think she was in the same car with Angela. The root of a lot of this dysfunction is just miscommunication. If they just talked and all that, everything would be good. Angela brings up Shamia talking to her daughter. Did you approach my daughter? No, I didn't approach your daughter. No, she didn't. But you did say some stuff that was out of line. About, oh, I'm paraphrasing, you're a lot nicer than your mom. you was talking to me about my parent, that I would try to beat your tail. What are you talking about? What? Other people are like, oh, it's so harmless. Okay, so you want some strange woman who just meet me now bad mouthing my mom to my face? You could have saved that. So if she wanted to beat her, she could have. What is no one understanding? Then Shamia brings out the receipts and all that stuff. Angela lied. Da, 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 da. Then it goes into all this insulting stuff because there's no longer anyone really able to hold their own, especially Angela, because she's crashing out, talking about all this Zamunda stuff. Sometimes you just gotta let the mouse go, Angela. It wasn't cute. Kelly saying everyone's doing the master's work. Land the pain, Angela. Basically talking about people are doing stuff for Portia. I'll put it on the table. I'm not going to say no, and I'm not going to say yes to that. However, the way y'all went on Angela and Drew last season, I don't understand why you don't think that you're going to get it back. That's the thing that's just like, oh, now it's on you, so, oh, you're doing the bidding. You were doing it last season. It's like... All right, so the ladies go back to their castle. Breaking news. Kelly's ex files a $200 million lawsuit against Bravo over comments that were made about him. I remember that breaking the news. There was a lot of headlines against Kelly. I honestly didn't know if they were going to bring this stuff up or not, but okay, cool. I'm glad that they did. Kelly, I'm actually proud of you in this scene. You finally broke down and you said that, I'm the one that's been silent trying to keep the peace and the fight gets hard and stuff, and you break down. That's what I've needed. Because I just been seeing this mask on you like you're okay. And I'm like, we're all seeing you go through it. And we're just not getting the real you or real emotion in all of this. So there is some affirmations. There is some ministry that's going on with Kelly at this moment. We're hearing Cynthia and all that. We're hearing Phaedra. Ain't this should be your major thing right now, right, Phaedra? You should be really like, where's your prayers and speaking in tongues like you did for Sweet Tea? Where's that at? Let me move on. Because I've been on here longer than I thought I was, so I think I ran my mouth way too much. But Kelly and Portia had a come to Jesus moment. I don't want to fight with you. I don't want to fight with you either. Kelly apologizes. Guess who didn't apologize? I said, they make amends. And then another thing I'll just bring up and I'm going to be done. It's interesting that Shamia doesn't like all these rumors and disparaging stuff. And, that stuff can stick. I mean, your stuff isn't sticking. Kelly's is that Portia's said about her. They were just making jokes about Kelly, who's at the BET Awards this weekend. Make sure you don't sleep with no married pastor. In the comments, I saw it. Hers stuck with no proof. Yours didn't. Yours did. Y'all can tell me what y'all thought about this episode. I didn't like it. I'm just letting you know. Because it's just like, what? Angela, you do look like a fool this episode. You have no backup. You have an assumption. Just like how I felt about Portia, I got to put it on you. I got to be fair. Y'all let me know, but I appreciate everyone for sticking with me. Like, comment, subscribe, and until the next one, peace.